welcome everybody to Write Better Together. I'm Jon Meyers. Hey, look, everybody. It's Peggyann Kennedy. What the heck? Who? What? Who? Why? Where did you come from?
LRV, North Carolina.
It's like a Grand Central Station around here. It's like a revolving door. Hopefully you're here. We'll be talking about that she's going to be here for a while in a future episode. What are we talking about today, Peggyann?
So, Jon Meyers, we have quite the list.
Oh.
First, we'll have our viewer response, and then we will recap WriterCon, our experiences there.
Oh, that sounds like you're going to be the guest then.
I am. I'm the special guest.
You're quite the
extra
guest.
Special guest. Then we'll have Hey Jon Meyers, and then we'll have our final act.
Oh, my goodness. Your first game. I made it easy on you, so don't.
Thank you. I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to expect.
Be nervous for the next hour. So how'd you get out of your bubble this week?
Well, I recently joined a writing club at school.
Oh, so I guess you need to tell people that you're what at school. What are you, 16 and you're like a freshman in high school? What?
I'm actually 28. And
I wasn't trying to get your age out of you. Now you know that we're the same age. The co-host and I are always the same age. You look great for my age, but I look terrible for your age. So I look great. I should not have said that. What
you do?
Thank you. Why are you in school? What are you going to school for?
Well, at the moment I'm getting a master's degree in English language and literature.
Oh.
I'm going to the University of Tulsa. I went there for like the last 2 years of my bachelor's degree and loved it so much. I just wanted to stay on.
You couldn't get away from it. The same thing happened to me. I went to film school, but then I got a master's in English and then an MFA in screenwriting, and I just got it. And then I wound up teaching, and because I got addicted to campus life because there's so much energy. I'm guessing then you have big giant books. You're surrounded by big giant books right now.
Oh yes.
Show us your biggest one.
Right now it is Milton.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this beast.
And that's due Tuesday, right?
Well, actually, yes.
Show me the inside of it again. The inside the cover.
Inside the cover.
And then show me the title page.
Title page. I think that's it.
Yep. Is there a map in there?
Let me see. I don't see one.
That's Paradise Lost, right?
Yes, sir.
And then Peggyann likes to call me sir for some reason, and we'll be putting an end to that.
I am a Southern girl, and I was in the Navy, so between the two, it's kind of gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'll try to stop with you.
Well, I don't know this answer. Was Milton a serial? I mean, was Paradise Lost a serial? I don't think it was.
I don't think so. It's just a long extended poem.
It was all released at once. Guess what? By the end of the semester, you'll know the answer to that, I bet. And we'll be talking about serials for a while, but we're not ready to tell you about that yet. And we'll see what happens this episode, people. And then what? I interrupted. You're in school, and you joined a writers club.
Yes, sir. It's mainly we're just talking about our goals for the week. Like we meet and we say, hey, I'm going to make a list of so-and-so, or I'm going to contemplate creativity, something like that. Someone actually said that. So, and then the next week we meet and see if we actually completed our goals for the week. And if we did, gold star. And if we got at least one of the things completed that we said that we would complete, we get silver star.
Awesome.
And then we set more goals. And I think we're going to start a creative writing club, which I'm really excited about. I'm not sure when that will start, but it should be soon.
What's the first one? What's the first writing club if it's not creative writing? It's just it's just goals.
It's just goals. We just a small group of us meet and kind of keep each other accountable and help each other with our writing assignments and all.
So here at Write Better Together, that now you will come to know, we're really big on accountability groups and accountability partners and accountability groups like that you've joined, and so that's great. Do they know yet that you're going to be talking about them on the pod?
That I'm not sure about. I'll have to talk to them and see if it's all right.
No, you just it's your life. You can always tell stories from your life. It's just whether or not you can talk about them. But you can always tell about yours, because I'm
That's
going to
true.
ask you right now, what was your goal that you gave them?
Actually, I had three goals. One was to write for at least 30 minutes for two times a week, at least. Last week, I think I said three times a week, and that was a stretch. So,
Oh.
two times a week. That was one of my goals. A couple of them are kind of secret for now, but I'll reveal them in time, maybe.
I'm the first time you're on camera and you're already keeping secrets. Oh my goodness. Here's something you don't know. Speaking of secrets, viewers from the past know I don't believe in goals, because here's why. But I'm not faulting you for having goals. I think for certain, uh, it depends how the person's motivated. So for certain people, they're great motivators. For me, I believe in objectives and targets, because for me the process is more important than the goal, right? And so
Right.
you just gave an example. That's why it came up. You had a goal of 3 and you didn't make it, so you revised the goal of 2. There are people who will beat themselves up, and now this week they won't write at all because they didn't make their goal. Where if your goal or if your target was to write 3 times a week, and or to, like, I write every day, but some days it might be 10 minutes, but other days it's 8 hours, right? But I make sure I write something every day. And so, but that's process. And so you can't mess up process. And when you have a goal, and again, I'm not trying to persuade you to come to my side, but when you have a goal and you hit that goal, oh, you get this endorphin rush, and it's like, oh my goodness, and you feel so good. And then immediately, like 5 minutes later, you're like, oh, now I got to come up with another goal for next week, or like,
Mm.
and so it's this up and down chemical imbalance in a person, as opposed to uh like write every day. Seinfeld writes a joke every day. He writes them on a legal pad, and he puts a big big red X on his calendar. And if he misses a day because he was traveling or whatever, which I don't think he ever misses a day, but you see that calendar. There's a hole on whatever the 13th, where I did, and so it's like I have to write something today, so I can put a little X on my calendar. I don't have a physical calendar on my refrigerator like Seinfeld does, but it's I'm more process oriented than I am goal oriented. I have targets like books that we'll be talking about in a future episodes. That one's got to be done by August 1st, and another one's got to be done by, let's say, March or whatever. So is that a goal? I don't know. It's a deadline. You can
Mm.
call it a goal, but I mean it's got to be, or it won't. Like when this one, it had to be done by August 8th, or I wouldn't have had him in my hand and take him to WriterCon. And so that wasn't really a goal. It was like a non-negotiable. Okay, it's got to be whatever it is. When I hit send, whatever it is, that's what it is. Those are my beliefs about that, and that I think that's wonderful. Now I just made it sound like I didn't think it was wonderful. No, I think it's wonderful because you have accountability, and again, that's process. That's, to me, that's more important. And I don't think you should beat yourself up that you revised your goal. See, to look at that word, that you were revised downward. It's just the whole jargon of it, the whole vocabulary. Oh, I didn't hit my goal. Now I had to step back and revise it to something else. And uh but it's great that you should be celebrating the 2 that you wrote twice, or in my case that I've written every day, or that we've had a podcast up for, I don't, episode 78 went up this week, 79, 78.
Wow.
And never missed a Tuesday, including Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So I'm proud of that. And uh, couldn't have done it without Emily for that first till the summer, until she had her baby. There's been times where it was 11:59 on Tuesday, and actually what I just said, like if I was a goal person, there was one in the past month where it just like it was done and I had sent like at 11:30 that night on a Tuesday, but it just froze and it was just sitting there. And so I don't know, by the time it unfroze, it was, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. But so it was done on Tuesday. Technically no one saw it until Wednesday though. But anyway, that's wonderful. How many people are in this group?
1, 2, 3, about maybe 4 to 8, something like that.
And how did it come about?
That's a really good question. I think several of them have started it, I don't know, throughout the semesters. I don't know, they just got together and decided that they wanted something kind of like that to write because they like to write and to keep each other accountable. So
And so they kind of recruited you, kind of, or you heard about it.
I heard about it, and I mean, it's like 15 minutes after my class for that day. So just as soon as it's over, I just go right down the hall and I just sit and chill.
Are you the only new girl?
Um,
you said some have been around for a while.
I think I might be the only new one. There might be 1 or 2 others that are fairly new, but as far as I know, most of them have kind of been together for at least a couple semesters.
That's great because some people that would be intimidated and they'd be like, "Oh, I can't go penetrate that group. I'll go start my own or whatever." So that's great that you're able to find a home there when they've already existed, without you. And then part of that is probably because like you've been away from school and now you're coming back to school. Part of it is that, like, so it's almost like a job, kind of.
Kind of,
And,
yeah.
All right, cool, awesome, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Sir, you didn't call me sir.
I didn't.
Good job. I'm proud of you for that
Thank
too.
you. Gold star.
How do you get out of your bowl, Jon Meyers?
How did you?
Thank you for asking, Peggyann. So normally, part of getting out of the bubble is what you did, right? Like that's the perfect example. The whole thing is get out of your house, get away from the computer, which we're going to talk about WriterCon. And so that's the big giant getting out of the bubble. But the one I did is fresh on my mind was on the computer last night. So last night I went to, I don't want to call it a webinar, but it was online and it was hosted by a friend of the podcast, Ashley Hargrove, Emily and I met her at a film festival in Gatlinburg or somewhere down there. Somewhere around Dollywood, Sevierville, somewhere down there. And she's just followed us everywhere. And when we were at Southern Festival of Books last year, she came all the way up from Alabama and came and saw us and spent the afternoon with us. And she's just been a wonderful supporter. She's a screenwriter. But she does have books. I think she has a Christmas book. She has she has a couple books out. I think I talked to her last night into writing a book about product placement because the last film that she was producer on, and this event was run by Athens State University in Alabama. And so they were kind of like bringing alumni back to teach the students or whoever wanted to join it on Zoom, like me. What have you done? You got this degree here, and they're like, so this is what you can actually do in the real world with your degree. And so she's produced a bunch of movies. She's written books. She's a voiceover artist. Like a lot of people were asking questions about her voiceover work. But the thing that she's done to me that you don't see a lot of is she got product placement from like Kraft macaroni and cheese and Bagel Bites, and her independent, small budget film. She like took the time and reached out to, like she wanted blow pops, those the ring that's a blow pop, whatever, I forget what those are called. You know what I mean? They're
Okay.
candy.
I know what you're talking about.
She
Yeah.
wanted those in her film, so she reaches out to them. Hey, will you sponsor our film? Which was a smart thing to do, right? And then they're like,
Yeah.
well, no, you have to go to XYZ Corporation. Well, XYZ Corporation are the people that do Bazooka Joe and Bazooka Bubblegum, and they do like 8 other brands, and they do Kraft macaroni and cheese, and they do product placement for Bagel Bites. And so she winds up having this giant like resource, and each one has its rules. iPhone has its rules of how you can use their products in their films. Cars have their own rules about how you can show their logo, how you can't show their logo. One of her big sponsors was her film about it's a comedy about vampires called Marriage Bites. I used to have the poster for it here somewhere. I have the poster right here. Shout out to Ashley Hargrove. I'll hold up her poster right here. There's Marriage
Oh,
Bites
wow.
poster. That's Ashley right there.
Cool.
So there's sunblock, because vampires got to have sunblock, and so she reached out to the sunblock brand, and they want to be in a big sponsor. Well, who? Normally it's the big movies that do that, right? Disney and Marvel and all them, and so I told her she should write a book. So I Googled it, and there was like one blog that was pretty like, if you're a filmmaker, here's a little bit of what you need to do, but it was also, here's a little bit of what you need to do. It was good, but it was like, here, let us do it for you. And like, so it was also kind of a commercial for this organization. Well, she could write a book. There's no book of what I'm talking about. And so she should write a book on that. And because there's every other, the book for screenwriting and for DPs, for lighting, for film, for camera work. There's one for producing by Susan Lyons. It's great, but there isn't one for product placement. She's a product placement genius. So anyway, that was my that's how I got out of the bubble, was to support her. I think we should support our creative community, and no matter what. I'm not a filmmaker. I'm a screenwriter, but I'm not a filmmaker. I'm a novelist these days, and so I'm not gonna have any need for product placement. And that was just like 1/20th of what she talked about last night, but it was to me it was the most interesting thing. The other parts were interesting too, and the other thing that impressed me about her was she was very knowledgeable. So yeah, it was a great experience. If you have the opportunity to support a fellow creative that you've run across in your travels, then by all means you should do that, even if it's on Zoom, even though I technically did not get out of my bubble for that story.
Hey, do you have a viewer response?
Do I? What kind of question is that? Of course I do. Let me pull it up here. Share screen. So today, it's Misty. It's Misty L. Butler. It's not Misty Esmatisco's imaginary friend from her childhood. It's a real human being named Misty. And she is responding to when we were talking about mental health with one of our guests. I think she reminds us which guest that is in this video. Let's find out.
Hi, it's Misty with Write Better Together, and we've been looking at things that support our mental health. We often hear that we should take the time to relax, and I want to take that a step further and say we need to take the time to figure out what specifically really helps us relax. I've discovered that being around water is really relaxing to me, and when I'm on a vacation at the beach and laying on the sand, listening to the waves, I realize how much of the time in my normal life I'm not relaxed. I live in Kentucky, so I don't get to spend a lot of time at the beach, but I do have a pond that I enjoy sitting around, and I do have a very small stock tank pool that I love to get in the summer, and I can tell when I'm in there, it kind of helps me relax. So my challenge to you is to take some time to explore what really helps you feel relaxed. Pinpoint that, and then find creative ways to work that into your routine. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you again soon.
So what do you think about that, Peggyann?
I really love what she said about water. I mean, I definitely took after my mother in that I really love water. Whatever kind of body of water, oceans, creeks, ponds, lakes, rivers, whatever. I don't know what it is about them, but they are super relaxing. And sometimes my mother has to literally drag me out of the house to go to a body of water, but I never regret it once I do.
And I don't think you said this yet. You're in Oklahoma, which is known for its large bodies of ocean, like
yes,
of water.
Oceans everywhere.
Your school mascot is a hurricane.
Right in the middle of the country.
So of course you like water.
I am from North Carolina though, so we lived maybe a couple hours away from the ocean, so I went a lot as a kid. And I did grow up by a river, the PD River, and we used to go there all the time as a kid. What'd you think about it?
I grew up south of Chicago, and so I could ride my bike to the beach and to Lake Michigan. I would get up in the morning, before when it was still dark, even as a little kid, and I worked at a Tasty Freeze. Like when I was my first job, I worked at radio station. Well, my parents owned a Tasty Freeze, so I had that job my whole life, but not my whole life, but until I moved away. And so I don't know what age, single digit age, but my first real job was at a radio station when I was 14. And I used to get up and and it was before school. And I'd get up and ride my bike 7 miles because I couldn't drive yet. I was only 14, in the dark to the radio station, open up the radio station, and then did my radio station work. I was a morning guy for a while. I wound up actually doing the school board meetings, but in the morning, and I did my radio station job until 8 or 9. I don't remember when school started back then, and whenever high school started. But then in the summer, on my days off, I would get up. I didn't have school, so I would get up, and if I wasn't working at the radio station, I would ride my bike again in the dark. So at 4 o'clock in the morning to the beach. And because that was only maybe, I don't even remember, half-hour bike ride. It was, I don't know how fast I rode a bike when I was 14-year-old, 15-year-old boy. And then I would sleep on the beach. And so I would get up I never slept that much anyway, but I would sleep on the beach or not sleep or just lay there. And until, so it was still dark. So the sun would come up, and I would do this all summer if I wasn't working. And then, but the Tasty Freeze had to be open at 11. And so I had to I couldn't stay at the beach past 10. And then I had to ride my bike home, take a shower, and then either catch a ride to the Tasty Freeze or ride my bike to the Tasty Freeze. And so I went to the beach every morning. And so when you said it reminded you of your childhood, it reminds me of my childhood as well. And I'll just leave it at there. I'll leave it at that. Maybe someday when I know you better, I can tell you more beach stories. But right now, that's all you're getting.
That's good. You said 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I would get, because I wanted to be there before the sun came up.
I forgot that time of day actually exists.
I don't sleep, so.
Mm.
I never even back then, if I slept back then when you're in high school, I slept from 12 to 5, so I only slept 5 hours. But obviously if I got up at 4 in the morning and rode my bike to the beach, and but yeah, back then kids could do whatever they wanted, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure my parents thought it was crazy that I was doing that, but they didn't stop me.
I remember Mama telling me stories about her and some of her friends, I think, and a lot of the neighborhood kids just going out, and they had to be home by the time the street lights came on. That's just kind of what they did. The whole neighborhood kind of watched out for them, all of the parents together.
I had a friend who, I don't know who Sir is. I had a friend who, Marcy, who, his dad, because there were woods behind our house, and so we had horses growing up, and then we got rid of the horses when we were old enough to have motorcycles. And so when we were old enough to have dirt bikes, for those 4 horses, see ya, we got dirt bikes now. And so we would ride the dirt bikes out in the woods behind the house, and then, but my neighbor's dad had a big loud air horn from his boat, and so that's when he had to go home, is when his dad rang that air horn. And that was normally about then when it started to get dark. There weren't any street lights out in the woods.
Oh yeah.
And so that's, I didn't have, I can go home. I don't think I had a rule about going home. And but when he had to go home, then everyone just kind of left at that point. That other guy's dad was in charge of the entire neighborhood. That's not right. You want to know something? The funniest thing about that?
What?
That kid, I'm not going to say his name because he's still alive. You know how you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when you're a kid? He ate sugar sandwiches, white bread with sugar on them, like
White bread with sugar.
granulated sugar.
Sounds like something I do.
That's what he would eat. Like take to school for lunch, or just I
Mm.
don't know. It's not because it was cheaper or something. Sugar costs the same as peanut butter, I imagine. And I don't know. This is what he liked: sugar sandwiches.
I mean, you put cinnamon and sugar and all on a piece of toast and put it in the oven. It's kind of half that. I don't know.
And you tell me you weren't fancy. You put cinnamon on your sugar bread.
I sure do.
Look how fancy you are. All right.
Ready to talk about WriterCon?
Sure, if that's what you want to talk about. You have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. Let's tell people how we met, and then we'll talk about the. While you're talking about your part, I actually have all the winners of all the categories, and so while you're telling some of your stories, I will pull up the winners, so I'll have those ready.
Cool.
Yeah. So, the first time that I saw, well, first of all, I saw her mom and stepdad. I saw her parents in the elevator before I met Peggyann, and they were like, "What'd they say about me?"
They said that they were really impressed with you, that they really liked you, and kind of were really interested in what you do.
From that 1 minute that I was in the elevator.
You made quite an impression.
And I don't wear my badge at conferences, and because I just don't. And that's a whole long story. But for some reason, I want to say that your mom said, or maybe she asked my name, but for some reason it came out that I was Jon Meyers, and she's like, "You're all over that schedule. My daughter has an appointment with you." This is the way I remember it, and I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she goes, "Yeah." Like when she was looking at the schedule, they have an app that tells all the thing. When I was looking at the schedule, your name's on it everywhere, and I'm like, I only have 5 sessions. Last year, Emily and I had 8, and but I come all the way there to Oklahoma. I like to stay busy, and people seem to like what I have to say, so it worked out good. So anyway, they were very nice to me, and I took pitches for memoir. And please, if you're at home, like if I solicit your pitch, then yeah, but don't start sending me memoirs, please. There's so much on my plate right now, and so I took pitches for memoir for a couple projects that we're working on. Let's say 15 of them. 7 one day, 8 another day. Is that 15? Peggyann was one of them, and I don't know how I put 2 and 2 together. So we just had our regular meeting. It went well. Obviously, here she is. I'm talking to her, and I don't know how I put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, was I was in the elevator with your parents, but I don't remember she said what your name was. Like I didn't put that together until afterwards, till after we talked on the Zoom or on Riverside, and so I don't know. And then you're like, yeah, I think it was, and so I passed inspection from your mom. That was good.
Yes, sir.
And so what'd you think about me when you walked into this room, and here's this guy sitting behind this important nameplate right here?
Honestly, I was scared to death because I was trying to keep everything in my brain that I needed to say for my pitch. I remember learning how to take pitches from Bill Bernhardt, and I practiced with him once a long time ago. But I was just terrified and nervous that I'd forget everything that I knew about my own work. And but you were really nice to me, and you listened and gave me a lot of what?
You're gonna ruin my reputation. Telling people I'm nice.
Well, you were nice to me, and gave me a lot of awesome information. We had a wonderful conversation.
Did so this is the first time you were at WriterCon?
It was.
So how did Bill teach you how to pitch? Where was that?
So it's kind of an interesting story I wanted to tell you, actually, how I came to be in WriterCon. I think earlier this spring I won an award right before I graduated from my undergrad, and it involved a little bit of money. I could spend up to a certain amount, however I wanted, as long as it had something to do with creative writing stuff. And so I started Googling like writing stuff near me, like writing clubs, conferences, retreats, whatever. And I found WriterCon. It came up, and I had the choice between WriterCon, the conference, or the WriterCon retreat. And so, kind of between the two, my introverted self chose the smaller group. So I went to the retreat,
So
and
you went to
it
the
was,
retreat at Canebrake?
I did, at
Oh my
Canebrake and
goodness.
Wagon. It was incredible.
Oh, I bet.
The land out there is beautiful. It actually reminded me of my hometown, sort of, like Ellerby, North Carolina. Kind of, I know it sounds cheesy, like a silly country song or something, but it kind of brought me back to that time and kind of who I was back then. But I did learn a lot at the retreat. Bill and Laura were absolutely incredible, and we did some workshops together, and I got to kind of get some of my memoir workshopped, which was really cool. And that it was there that I found out a little bit more about WriterCon, and the more I heard about it, the more I realized, hey, I really want to do this thing, but how do I go? So I talked to Bill and Mr. Bernhard, whatever. He was very kind and gave me a scholarship to go.
So you were one of there were 2 scholarship winners. You were one of them.
I believe I was.
So yeah, I didn't know that. And look what I'm learning. So it's the 2026 website will be up soon. It's already there's the skeleton of it exists, and at the bottom he gives away 2. They have names, which I wasn't prepared to know what they are, but they have, I don't know what the names are. The John Q. Smith scholarship and the XYZ scholarship, and they're both important people in Bill's life. And so yeah, that's great. I didn't know you were one of them. So yeah, I didn't know you were at Canebrake. So you learned how to pitch.
I did.
So you did great, and so you learned from the master. Who knew? I didn't know
I
that.
did.
You didn't tell me that when you were in the thing. And tell me more about. We did not come here to talk about Canebrake, but tell me more about
That's
that retreat. Like what the takeaways were from it, at least.
honestly, I learned so much that I did not even know existed within the realm of writing. Like all of the publishing stuff, like traditional versus self-publishing and marketing, and the fact that you have to have social media. I don't like that, and a website. And my introverted self is nervous about that. But we actually got to speak to an editor and a literary agent and got to ask them questions, and it was a really wonderful experience.
So was it this year's Canebrake or the year before?
This year's Canebrake. Earlier this July, I believe.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just amazed by that. And what'd you write in there? Part of your memoir?
I worked on part of my memoir during that, maybe the first 2 or 3 chapters, I believe. I got to get some of that workshopped, and it was really incredible seeing what some of the other people were doing. They had some awesome ideas, and they were kind and helpful to me too. I had some questions about certain legal things, like talking about somebody in my memoir. How do I do that?
That's getting back to social media. And because you have to if you're going to be an author. And so it's almost like I don't like vegetables, right? But you got to eat vegetables because they're healthy for you. So I eat a carrot every once in a while, not a Bugs Bunny carrot. Like whether you like social media or not, it's part of the job of being an author, right? And I imagine it was scary for you to go to the conference, right?
It was.
It's part of the job, though, and so it's just part of the job. So sometimes you got to do things you don't like, and then you find out you end up liking them. Like, look how much like you were probably so intimidated to go to Canebrake, and then, but now look at it. Now you're on the other side of it. Like, aren't you glad you went and you didn't let your fear talk you out of going?
I wish I could go back to it.
All right, continue.
Okay. More WriterCon stuff.
More about how great it was to meet me, the voice of reason in your life. um, so yeah, so while you talk, get yourself from Cane Break to WriterCon, which you just did, and talk about some of your big takeaways from WriterCon. And then I'm gonna pull up the winners.
Okay, cool. So I was really impressed about the awesome spread that they had at WriterCon. You know, all the books and everything. It felt like being in I don't know, a Barnes and Noble for 3 or 4 days. It was like a writer's dream come true, or any book lover's dream come true. But
And all the
they didn't
authors
just.
are right there.
Yes, you can literally buy the book and get it signed in like span of 2 minutes or less. It was incredible.
You might, you're sitting in the ballroom listening to the keynote speaker. You might be sitting right next to you could be sitting right next to the
Exactly.
author.
I thought
All right,
that was
continue.
that was really cool, and they had a lot of other stuff besides books too, like stickers and pins. I got this one pin that has a Poe quote that I really love. Let's see, can you see that?
Yes.
It says, "I'm a writer, therefore I am not sane." Edgar Allan Poe. I had to get that. That was cool.
That's Katie Bernhardt
Ah,
got all that extra merch together. She does a good job.
she does an excellent job. She's incredible. I think she made the WriterCon satchel thingies that they gave us, the
Yep.
bags.
Yep.
That was really neat.
And the notebooks inside.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was cool. And one of the speakers, his name was Tyler Huffman, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I ran the screenwriter roundtable, and he was one of the people at the roundtable.
Tyler Huffman?
Yeah, Tyler Huffman.
Cool. I went to his screenwriting talk about the first page, and we watched clips of 3 different movies. I want to say like bad. What was it?
Quiet Place, Barbie, and
Quiet Place, Barbie, and the
one
movie with
other.
Bruce Willis. It had Bruce Willis in it. I remember.
I see.
Die Hard.
Which
I'm
one?
sorry. Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yeah.
And there was another one that I really liked by Abigail O'Brien. Actually got her autograph on a book I bought there. But she talked a lot about horror and fear in literature, which was really interesting to me. But I don't know, even if you're not a horror writer, it helps to have as much emotion in your work as possible to help the reader feel all of it and to kind of heighten the stakes of the story. So I thought that was really cool. I came away with a lot from her talks.
By the
So
time this airs, it will already happen. But Saturday, I think it's this Saturday. So, Jamie, I'm friends with Jamie Nash, who wrote Save the Cat Writes for TV.
oh,
And his new one is writes horror, and which I don't write horror, but I'm still going to take his class Saturday because exactly what you just said, that it, it's emotions and
right.
the things. I'm really big in my screenplays. I'm really big about you put this in, you pay it off. Put this in, pay it. So set up, pay off, set up, pay off. And Jamie's really good at that. And some people criticize Save the Cat, so I don't like. Save the Cat's 20 years old. Blake Snyder passed away, so you're attacking a dead person. That like that, I'm not cool with that. And but Jamie was friends with Blake, and it's 20 years. Like it's a completely different industry now, and Jamie knows streaming. Like streaming didn't even exist 20 years ago when the first book came out, right? And so you can't compare Rights for TV that came out last year or the new one that came out this month. You can't compare it with something that came out 20 years ago. So anyway, I strongly support Jamie. All right, continue.
Totally. And I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the writing contest that I did. I submitted several things actually right before the conference started. I think I ended up submitting the night that they were all due. but I submitted several several things of poetry that I'd written for my senior project, actually, for my undergrad degree. And I've submitted one short story. And one of each one, actually. I won like an honorable mention for the short story and first place for poetry. I literally did a double take when I saw my name up on the screen. I could not believe it. I was hoping, of course, but I had no idea.
And when
I
I
mean,
saw, so I was sitting in the back, and when I saw again, other than your 20 minutes when you were pitching, I didn't know you, but I saw you go up and get your awards, and then you go out and get your picture taken. You Other people were too, but you were like genuinely, you could tell on your face like genuine appreciative, and genuine shock. Like it's just all 100% genuine. And then I wrote down your name. I'm like, oh, that's the girl that pitched to me the day before, the 2 days before. All right, continue.
anyway, that was definitely a huge honor. I could not believe that I won that. But, I never told you, I don't think. I actually swore in for the Navy in Oklahoma City.
Oh.
So going back was an
Oh,
experience.
so you're in Tulsa. You hadn't been back to Oklahoma City since then.
I hadn't.
I've been there more than you have.
You have. You really have.
That's crazy. I think of all of Oklahoma being in like one place, and you think it's on the other side of the world. Oh, because there's oceans where you're at.
Totally. I mean, Navy. I was in the Navy.
All right, so just being there was an experience for you.
It was. It was, I don't know, looking back on swearing in, I have a lot of mixed feelings and all, considering my experience in the Navy, but going back kind of made me feel like I was going full circle again. And I don't know, going to WriterCon just made me feel more like myself than I have in a very long time, both the retreat and the conference. And I don't know, I'm usually really, really introverted, and I kind of was there still, but I did feel a lot more bubbly and excited there. And I don't know, it was just a wonderful feeling to be around other people who get it like I do, who just love to write and who love like geeking out about fantasy books and everything and what we're working on now. It just felt good.
For people watching, it looks like I'm ignoring her. I'm not. I'm trying to pull up the list of the winners so that I could share those. And keep going.
And the hotel was really beautiful. The Skirvin, I think that this was the first time in a year or two that they've had it there, but it was really beautiful.
Used to have it there, and then
Okay.
they went and had it in the suburbs for I don't know 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then when that contract was up, they went back to it. Kind of outgrew the other place was nice too, but it kind of outgrew that the Waterford Renaissance.
Okay.
And so, as you know, you can't outgrow, and it's bigger. It was bigger this year. Like he said, it was 30% bigger, 20% bigger. In the ballroom, it seemed 50% bigger than because I've been there 4 or 5 times now, and than in the past. But so there's room to grow there, and you can't outgrow the Skirvin. Is your mom and your stepdad, are they writers?
They're not. My mother actually contemplated writing something a long time ago, but she ended up not. Yes, they're very, very supportive. My mother especially. She homeschooled me growing up, and she always had me reading and writing and all of that stuff. So that was a huge inspiration for me, and she has really encouraged me to do whatever I want to do or need to do for writing.
Well, so tell me about another session you went to.
There was one we played this sort of a game where you I don't know, there were several different words that were on a folded up sheet of paper, and the speaker kind of read out a little story, and every time she got to one of those words, like a key or a bear or a little house cottage thing, you kind of write and describe what you think it looks like. And then towards the end, she reveals that all of those things represent something kind of in your subconscious or in your mind. So, like, say the house is what you think of family or love or something like that, and the bear is what you think of death. So, that was really interesting.
Who was that?
Let me see. Story villain, thrilling action scenes.
That sounds wonderful.
It was really wonderful. It was kind of eye-opening in a way. It made me think about myself a lot. She was one of the speakers of the fantasy. JB Kane. I'm sorry.
Oh, so
JB
yeah,
Kane.
so she's friend of the show, a friend of the podcast. So
Cool.
Betsy and JB, and so I'll tell her that you said that, or I'll show her this clip. Betsy, JB, and there's two Jennifers, and JB's a Jennifer, and then Jennifer. There's another Jennifer, the big long name. They have a podcast called Unfreaking Believable, and it's about weird things that are unfreaking believable.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've seen her present before. She's great. They all are. That's one of the things about WriterCon. So you go to some and Writer Fest, which I'm speaking at in November, is the same way. There's no bad speakers, and so
Right.
you go and then you got to choose between four of them, and then you can't. It's an impossible choice, and then
It was a freaking crisis trying to choose between 2 or 3 of them.
yeah. And then in some conferences, I won't name any names, film festivals, like I don't say half of them aren't any good, but some of them aren't any good. But WriterCon's not like that. Writer Fest is not like that. Southern Festival of Books is not like that. Uh, they're always so there. It's a what's it called? What's the phrase? Too many riches. What is that?
Don't know.
It's a blank of riches. It's a overflow, a cornucopia of riches. It's an overflowing. There's too many, and there's too much good.
Definitely.
And then talk about the positive attitude.
Oh yeah, it was definitely uplifting. I mean, like you said, all of the speakers were incredible, and Mr. and Mrs. Bernhardt were really awesome and always around. And I don't know, it was just like everyone was so supportive and encouraging. And like there was a VIP event, I think, kind of what do you call that, networking event, I think. One of the nights, like the first night or two we were there, and everyone was just talking to each other and getting to know each other, and it didn't matter who you were, author, editor, whatever. We were just hanging out and geeking out about our favorite fantasy novels and what we were working on at the moment. It just felt so good.
Once you've been to 3 in a row, you get to be on the advisory committee thing. And one of the things behind the scenes that you see there is that it's designed to be a positive experience, but it's not just talk. It's actually put into action. And even something that can be, and I've had other people that I've talked to even this year who were first timers that I've talked to since I've had Zooms with and stuff, who are like, it's crazy how positive it is. It's by design to be positive because even like a critique session, right, where some people pay extra to have their critiques, to have their manuscripts critiqued, you still want it to be a positive experience, and you don't want to hand back a person a manuscript all marked up in red. And in the past, because he's been doing it for years and years and years, decades, in the past, if you stumble across a negative speaker, they just wouldn't get invited back, right? So they're all curated. Everyone's curated to be positive. Is because there's a way to critique people in a positive way as well, and that's all by design. And if you've ever been to other writers conferences, and so the writer that I talked to before you on a Zoom, she'd been to I don't even know how many, like all over New Jersey and just everywhere. And her fiance was a writer, and I should say her ex fiance was a writer, and she was like, WriterCon was so different because everyone's so positive. Normally, you go to a writers' conference and everyone's trying to one up each other, and it's a bunch of narcissists who are like, "Hey, look at me," and then like, "Oh, don't look at that guy, look at me." And I'm like, that had something to do with who you were with the whole time, too, right? Because that person was leading you through the experience. And she was like, "No, there's other people who I've been to other conferences were the same way, but WriterCon's the exact opposite. WriterCon is everyone supports each other and everyone becomes family."
Definitely. I felt that vibe for sure.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was so it was so different from what I knew in the Navy. I don't know, in the Navy, everyone's kind of just like that, trying to one up each other, trying to advance. So I don't know, it's like dealing with a bunch of sharks. And so I
yeah.
don't know why. I don't know why, but I keep expecting literally everything to be like that in the civilian world too. And there are people out there like that, but I didn't get that experience at WriterCon at all. It was the total, complete opposite. And I loved it.
Yeah,
It
and
was refreshing.
that's a good way of saying it too, Peggyann, because you're like, if this is neutral and then you've had experiences down here, it's not that WriterCon was neutral, you have it up here too, right? So there's a big gap between what your expectation was and then what it really was. It wasn't even neutral. And again, WriterFest is the same way, that uh, uh, just everyone's so positive. Um, all right, so I have a list of the winners of the contest here, and I'm not going to name all the runners up and all that just for time, but I wanted to congratulate these people. And obviously there's people here that who haven't uh, been to WriterCon, people watching this who haven't been to WriterCon, and you could be a winner, just like Peggyann was. And so nonfiction, there's a lot of categories, so that's another reason why I can't read all the runners up. The winners, Shelley Levisay for Deadly Dysfunction. Interrupt if you've like got to sit next to that person or anything.
Shelly was actually at the retreat with me. I got to know her pretty well. I mean,
Oh,
she's a sweetheart, and she's actually a lawyer, and she writes, and I liked her a lot. And I actually sat beside her when she won too, so I got to congratulate
oh,
her.
so not so yeah,
I was proud of her.
so you've only been to 2 WriterCon events, and both like you already have family.
I do.
That's
And there's
awesome.
another girl who won too, who actually was in the University of Tulsa with me. She and I took several classes together, and she graduated with me too.
Well, I'm
I
sure we'll
think we
get to
walked
her.
together.
Well, on this list somewhere. And you said Shelley's a lawyer, so there's that lawyer you were looking for earlier, right there. All right. Inspirational winner was another Shelley. What are the odds of that? Shelley Mellicote Stutchman, When Social Media Prays. How about that, Mrs. I Don't Like Social Media? You can use it for good. You can use it
You
for good.
can. You can. You
Uh,
can.
young adult winner Sherry, not Shelley this time. Sherry Heinrich, Want a S'more? Aw.
Oh, I want to read that.
Children's, check this out. I'm going to read all of them for this one, and I'll tell you why. Honorable mention, Shiela Gunlock, Sea Odyssey Adventure. Honorable mention, Suzanne Clement, Mind Travelers. First runner-up, Tamiko Nesbitt, Homeless and Alone. And the winner, David Corbly, Pierre the Potty-Mouthed Pirate. David Corbly, you.
Aw.
So, here's why I read all of them. Shiela Gunlock, guest on the show. She's talked about in the past where she just wanted to quit. Like, good thing she didn't quit, right?
Right.
And so I'll take
Definitely.
credit for her honorable mention for talking her out of quitting. And
Awesome.
Suzanne Clement, I've not had the pleasure of having her on the show yet. First runner up, Tamiko Nesbitt's been on the show twice.
I love Taniko. I actually met her. My parents met her actually, and they told me to visit her booth, and I bought a bracelet from her. She is a sweetheart.
Everyone loves Tamiko. She's so humble, and uh, I remember when she won her. It's not the first year that she's won. When she won her first award, and she was like, "You like, I can't believe it," and like, "You belong here, man. You belong at the table. You like, yeah, she's amazing." And then David Corbly, he's our helper. He helps us like when we have a webinar and stuff. He's helped and he's helped Emily and I so much behind the scenes, just with technical things. He helped me with a huge problem that I had with my novel, and he's all around great guy. He needs his own podcast, so I can help him with that. And yeah, David, I said it on the camera. You need to get your podcast going. And we've met about it. We've talked about it. And but also 3 out of 4 of those people have Write Better Together connections. How about that? That's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
And hopefully it'll be 4 out of 4 someday soon. All right, so we did Shelley. Memoir. The winner is David Barnett Kamarebi. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Sorry, David. Screenplay. Also, Shiela Gunlock was an honorable mention for Oh God, Oh God. That was her new work, by the way. And winner, Ryan Brandt, Zombie the Musical. I got to meet Ryan. He came to my screenwriter roundtable as well. And he sang us a song from his musical. How about that?
Oh.
Poetry winner was, oh my gosh, it's you, Peggyann Kennedy.
That was me. I could not believe it. I think I cried a little.
For Ache. You ached.
I did.
Flash Fiction. Kyra Walters, Divinity and Sin. Fiction, Regina Mullinex, The Yule King's Curse. I have not had the pleasure of meeting Regina, but I read the premise of this book, and it sounds amazing, and we need to invite her on the show. And then you can talk about what it was like to lose to her, because you got honorable mention in that category for The Attic. And so you two can talk to each other about that category. Tell us about The Attic, Peggyann Kennedy.
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I wrote it 2 or 3 years ago, actually. I was laying in bed and I was hearing a weird, funky noise. It sounded like a ticking clock almost, but I knew that there was no ticking clock in the room, and it was driving me crazy. I couldn't figure out what it was. But finally, I figured out it was that thingy that dangles from the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan was on, and it was just constantly hitting the light on the fan and all. So finally figured that out, and I thought that would be an interesting premise for a story. And I was thinking something along the lines of Edgar Allan Poe, the Telltale Heart, something like that. And so I don't know. That's just kind of where the story came
That's
from.
what it reminded me of when you were saying this relentless ticking sound. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
That's how the ticking clocks came into the story, and
but now everyone knows what it was. It was the ceiling fan pull. Spoiler alert.
Well, not in the story, but in reality, yeah.
Okay. Published nonfiction was Henry Rausch for Submerged. Published poetry was Kelly Morris, When the Glass Breaks. Published fiction was R.J. Johnson, Malicious Magic. And those are the winners. And so congratulations to all y'all winners, and then all the runners up and honorable mentions that I didn't mention. I can put them on the. I'll list them in the show notes underneath. I'll list the whole list in the show notes underneath the episode. How about that? You want to know my big takeaways?
Oh yes, please.
First of all, I loved taking pitches from y'all. There are, I think I said this, there were 15 people, and you can't, like, every person isn't a match for every publisher / editor / agent / manager.
Right.
But there's no shame in not being a match. And we've talked about this with Renee Gutteridge on the podcast before, with Sarah and Amy from WriterFest, and it's just that's not the right person, but there's another right person in there. I had two that were really good, like really good, like really, really good. And, but there's no way in a million years that I could publish them because of who I am and what my brand is. And that they're just not a good fit. Likewise, that'll happen. I've heard that of it happening at other places. I don't think it happens at WriterCon but like a romance person will pitch to a horror agent. Well, what do you like? You know what? She talked about that last night in her webinar. Like, make sure that you're pitching to the right people when you're looking for an agent or looking for a manager. Uh, uh, because people will do that. They'll just be like, "Oh, open submissions," and all they publish is romance. Oh, I have this horror story, or I have this whatever memoir. No, we're a fiction public. And so they don't do that. You just look silly and you're wasting your time. Make sure that you do your due diligence on who you're pitching to. I didn't have that problem. Everyone that I pitched to, uh, everyone that pitched to me, they all pitched a memoir in one shape or form, and most of them were good, and two were really good. Two were yours being one of them that I can do something with, and then two were really good that I can't do anything with. But that's the way that it goes. I'm hesitant. I don't want to leave anybody out. So like if I start talking about my favorite sessions, uh, then and I don't say one and I was in that one, it doesn't mean that it wasn't good because they were I'd already established they were all good. This a plethora of goodness, and all the keynotes were good, like just amazing. And one of the first keynote, Renee Gutteridge's pastor, who was inspiring to be writers, and he talked about the emotions of his name's Tommy. I don't remember his last name. I'm sorry. I'll put it on the screen. He talked about the emotions of being a reader and how this total stranger, he's reading a book on a plane and he starts crying, and this total stranger makes him cry, that he's never going to meet this person. And he's not in the situation about what he's reading about. So it's these powerful words that are moving this emotion to him, and he just had to stare out the window and sit in that. Like I'm always big on getting the reader to turn the page. Well, sometimes you don't want them to turn the page yet. You want them to sit in it. And when we work on your memoir, that's going to be that. And when I work on my memoir, that's going to be a big thing. I want them to turn the page within the chapter, but when that chapter's done, I want them to like be hit in the gut so hard that they don't they got it. Like if they're reading it on the plane or reading it in the car, not while they're driving, but reading it in their car, they just got to sit there, and it has to sit with them maybe overnight even. And that with memoir, I think that's super important. But he was talking about fiction. And so one of the sessions that I gave, I filled every room, man. And one of the biggest room was like there were standing room only people in the back, and which is great. And but one of the sessions I gave the day after Tommy gave that was about relationship theory. Different psychological archetypes are more emotional than other archetypes, and you want to keep that in mind when you're matching up characters. And he said two things in that. He had no idea what I was going to teach about the next day. He totally set me up perfectly for two things that were in my session the next day. And I was like, how many people were at the keynote last night? And of course everyone goes to the keynote, so it was almost everybody. And I'm like, oh, thank you. That was like it couldn't have paved the way better for what I was about to talk. And it wasn't the same topic at all, but there were two two touchstones on it that matched up back to it. So all of them were great. All of them were inspiring. My highlight, I'm in a session about anthology, and I don't know Anna Jaworski, or I know her now, but I didn't know her ahead of time. And I was the first person to sign up on the app. There's an app where you can sign up to take their sessions. I was the first person to sign up for her session, and she had a place in there where you could ask questions and stuff. And some people do it and some people don't do it on the app and stuff. And I'm publishing 2 anthologies next year, ideally. And so I wanted to take this class. I want to learn from her. And so I asked a question and stuff. This is the first time this has ever happened. This is my crowning achievement. This is I won an Oscar. I won a Grammy. I didn't know. I'm sitting in the audience of her session. I was named, like, this is her handout from the session. It quotes me. Like, I was named on the flyer from the handout. And look at that. John's question. She called me John, not Jon Meyers, but oh my gosh. And then there was like a little activity built around me. Like, not around me, but around the thing that I asked about. Like, wow. I was like,
that's incredible.
And what if I wouldn't have gone to that session, right? Because you don't.
Right.
Sometimes something happens, or sometimes sessions get moved around, and that's another good thing about the app is ahead of time if something gets moved. But what if I was speaking at the same? Because I wanted to go to her other one because she does one on podcasting too, and Emily and I did one on podcasting last year. She was great, so I wanted to go to the other one, but I was speaking at the same time. So what if I would have been speaking at the same time as that one? Then I wouldn't have got to see me listed on the actual propaganda from her thing. That was so like, yeah, I can't ever top that in my career. That's it. I don't care. I have 10 novels out. Nothing beats being on Anna Jaworski's flyer right there.
That's awesome.
I know it is. She does 4 podcasts, has a nonprofit, always just incredibly amazing and inspiring. I'd like to think that we became friends. She's like, oh, you're traveling alone. Do you want me to take some pictures? Because I didn't have a partner there. You had parents. I didn't have a partner there that could take pictures of me because you want to put pictures on your social media. And I'm like, oh, what a blessing, because like, yeah, because you always want to put pictures of you speaking on your social media. And like, just to offer that, a total stranger goes, you want me to take some pictures in your session? And I'm like, can you follow me around and take pictures of all my sessions? She's like, no. I always wear black, right? The day she was in my session, I took the pictures. I had a black and white checkered jacket on, so it wasn't all black. So I wish she would have come to when I had all black session on, but oh well. And then she's like, I'm a speaker, so I know how hard it is to keep track of time. Do you want me to be your timer? And I'm like, is this what I think it is? Because I judge debate tournaments sometimes, and you can ask to have, some judges like to do their own timing, but you can also, I don't, so you can ask for a timer, and they'll give you a timer to go into your round with you. And so I'm like, you mean like a real, like you're gonna time, like? And so she had a red, yellow, and a green index card, and she's like, yeah, I'll hold up. Green is you're good to go, right? You got 10 minutes left. Yellow is you have 5 minutes left. Red, you have 2 minutes left, or whatever, or make it whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, give me the red one tell me when I get to 5 minutes. And then, because I'm pretty good, I know how long 45 minutes is, and because I've done it long enough. But it was still nice to have that. What a nice thing to offer to someone, to be their timer. And I'm like, again, can you follow me around and do that? Oh, hold on.
That was nice. Okay, very cool.
Last thing I'll say. So the other person, and there were so many good sessions, and I didn't get to go to Renee's. I didn't get to go to Bob's because I was in a session, and then one, I don't know, like I just missed Renee's. I just missed, but I'm sure I went to another good one. But she's one of my favorites. So I've never not learned something, even when Renee Gutteridge, when she's on the podcast or whatever, smartest woman I know, smartest person I know for story. I've never not learned something from her, even if it's on a topic I already know about. I've always learned from her. So A
Awesome.
first-time speaker was Steve Gherkin, who has several books, actually, traditionally published books from small indie presses, I've discovered. But he has Twin Feathers publishing company in Tulsa. You know anybody who lives in Tulsa?
Me.
Echoes of Light. Here he is. Right here.
Okay.
And he was a dentist for his whole life, so maybe your mom knows him as a dentist. And he's like a dentist for like 35 years, and then he retired and became a writer. And he went and got his MFA like at whatever age that was, after he was done being a dentist. And this is an amazing book. He's having an event. Y'all watching this. It's tonight at Soma in the Brood Hotel at 5:30 to 6:30 in Tulsa for an hour. So you want to be a writer, and he's going to tackle the things that people are nervous about becoming a writer. Or he even said he was going to tackle if you used to write and then you put it down, and someone talked you out of it. A husband talked you out of it. Emily and I talked to over 300 people at Southern Festival of Books, and there were so many people that, I wrote in college, like when I got my BA. Then when I went to grad school for creative writing, my creative writing professors talked me out of it, or were so uninspiring or unencouraging. It made us cry because we're both professors, and like I put down my pen, I put down my keyboard because they were so brutal and ruthless. Like that's not your job, MFA professor. And
Right. I've heard horror stories about that too. I was kind of afraid to get like a creative writing something masters or something because of that, and I don't know, it didn't work out for me, but I do love what I'm doing now. But I don't know, I've heard about that in the art industry too. Like like art college students, like they're told that they're not good enough or something. I think that's just terrible.
yeah, and that well, first of all, you're getting an MFA from me for free, so um, so that worked out. All the cattle on the field, but you. So did you get rejected for an MFA?
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't know, my college just doesn't offer an MFA for creative writing. It's only English language literature, so I don't know, and I really wanted to stay at TU, so
So I
I
got.
chose
I
this.
won't go into detail because we've talked about it on podcasts more than once, but I got rejected for MFA, and that's how I wound up getting a master's. And then so did my hero, Michael Jamin. He got rejected for the MFA program that he wanted to go to. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because 2 years later, after I got my master's and I already fell in love with teaching and everything, the MFA program called me and they recruited me, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you still want to get an MFA?" And like the same well, it wasn't the same person that called, and I'm like, Dr. So and so rejected me, and she was like, "Yeah, but he's the one that told me to call you." And
Wow.
so yeah, and I already knew how to teach, and so part of that job is you teach, or part of the way you pay for school is you teach, and I already knew how, and I was already good at it, and I already had customers. I already had students who had me for 100 and wanted me for 200 or 300, or or they had me for 100 and 200, they wanted me for 300, and so it was like God worked all of that out where it was better. It was that 2 year. It wasn't a gap because I got a master's in it, but that 2 year gap was actually turned out better. And so yeah, so I got to meet Steve Gherkin, and his session was on ekphrastic writing, and that's what this book is. So this book has nonfiction, flash fiction, poetry. I normally show everyone's signatures when I hold up a book that's signed. There you go. There's the signature.
Oh, cool.
Proof I've really met him. and
Mhm.
and so there'll be a picture from Sam Joyner, and so there's a photograph, and then here's a poem that corresponds. And ekphrastic writing, it's really, you need both pieces, right? It's not like a you know what a diptych is? Have you learned that yet?
Diptych.
Yeah. So yes.
Vaguely.
And so that is completely 2 parts, 1 + 1 = 3, right? Ekphrastic, because they play on each other, and he's really good at it, like really good at it, which is why that book exists. And then so that's what the session was. He kind of taught us in 45 minutes, which I already knew about it, but I still like hearing a new teacher, like a new teacher's approach, and the examples are always new, and the stories are always new, because you've never heard the guy, and it was the first time he ever presented anywhere. He did great. He was fantastic, and it was one they're all good there, but it's one of the most engaging ones, and so I'm encouraging him to do more of that, because he was wonderful. Anything else on that topic?
I wish I could go, but sadly, class duty calls.
Oh, tonight. I thought you meant. I didn't know what you meant.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sad face.
You just can't be in 2 places at once. You just can't. There's not, like, that happens
Very
sometimes.
true.
So anyway, that's WriterCon. Can't recommend it enough. Wonderful.
Amen to that.
Yay.
I will recommend it to everyone I meet.
Yeah, it's so cool that you went to Canebrake too.
It was a blessing, that's for sure. Hey, Jon Meyers.
Ah, yes. I'm not used to those words coming out of you. What?
So, why do sloths move so slow?
What? Just jump right in there at the question.
But I promise
for you, I am the number one. This is, first of all, you don't know this. First time you've ever been on the show. I'm the number one expert on sloths in Middle America, in states that aren't touched by an ocean. or sloths. And this is the number one podcast for sloth lovers. How about that? You didn't know that either, did you?
I did not.
This is a perfect question. So I have no idea. Let me guess. Why are they slow? Like, what causes them to be slow? Or
yeah, that I guess.
Because they were designed that way. But, I'm going to say it's climate related.
That could be part of it, but I think most of it is because they have really slow metabolism. They don't really need to go really fast or anything. They live up in the trees, and
I'm going to say it's because they have really slow metabolism.
Yes. Correct. You get a gold star. They have really slow metabolism, and it's really interesting. They even their stomach processes and digests things really slowly too, because like one leaf can stay in their stomach for like a month or so. So yeah. And I think that this is really interesting, or I hope it's interesting, because it kind of tells you a little bit about me too, because I have a stomach disorder called I have a stomach disorder called gastroparesis. And the funny thing, guess what the mascot is for gastroparesis people?
Caterpillar.
Wrong. Sorry.
Tiger. Hurricane. What's your hurricane?
Sloths.
What's his name?
Sloths.
Oh, sloths.
Because they have slow metabolism. They move slow like we do, and slow stomachs too. So, like, for me...
So if you eat a salad, it stays in your stomach for a month?
It doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there. I don't know. Salads are like razors to my stomach. It's bad. I can't eat raw vegetables. What else can I eat? Anything with fat or fiber or anything like that, my stomach just doesn't process. So there are things I can eat. I've learned that work well with me, like chicken tenders. Thank the good Lord. I don't know what to do without my chicken. But yeah, and things like the little Chef Boyardee things, stuff like that, mac and cheese, anything soft like grits.
So you're telling me, woman that has no age, that your diet is like a 6-year-old where you eat chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese?
Pretty much.
I love that. That's amazing.
Basically.
So, can the chicken nuggets or chicken tenders? Do you have breading sensitivities? Like they can't have pepper in them or anything like that, or?
I don't think that the breading bothers me particularly. There are a lot of gastroparesis people who could not eat like breaded chicken at all. Some people can't eat solids at all. They have feeding tubes. Some people just have to eat really tiny amounts of food a day. It's kind of me too. I have to eat several, like 4 or 5 small meals throughout the day as opposed to 3 large meals. So, yeah.
Well, viewers of our pod know that I have no bodily functions. I can't hear about I can't look at a sonogram. I can't somewhere. It used to be up here when Matisco was on. I had her book cover had her broken wrist on it. I can't look at an X-ray. What do you?
I wouldn't want to see that either.
And I made it through that 6 weeks. I survived the broken wrist. It's a great book. So, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Do you have, what kind of bread do you eat?
Bread, mostly white because wheat bread has a lot of fiber and all in it, and I can't do that.
You can't eat bread with seeds on it and stuff.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be good for me. Anything with seeds or skin, like peaches with skin or apples with skin.
Are you old enough to be on this podcast? Because you eat white bread, chicken nuggets, and macaroni and cheese.
I know, I question that a lot.
Oh, no.
I do feel like a kid in more ways than one. That is for sure.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that you compare yourself to a sloth and that you have these that you were made that way. You mentioned so I was in a wheelchair when I broke my ankle in a motorcycle wreck, and you said you've been in a wheelchair before, but you acted like you might return to a wheelchair sometime. Why would that be?
I have trouble walking long distances. I have another issue that I think is tied to the gastroparesis. It's called POTS. It's low blood volume and low blood pressure. And I see stars almost every time I stand up after sitting down. So there's always the danger of fainting or passing out. And if I have to walk long distances, that's really bad for it too. So like if ever I'm in an airport, I probably would need a wheelchair or something like that, just so that I don't have to walk for too long or stand in a long line, that sort of thing. But what you said about sloths, it's kind of cool. I've started to really appreciate them, and all of a sudden it's sloths everything, sloth PJs, sloth babies. This one's actually lavender scented, so that's kind of fun.
Are there sloths in America that aren't in a zoo?
That I'm not sure about. I wouldn't think so. I think that they're mostly in South America, Latin America, somewhere like that. Maybe Africa.
And
I don't know.
Are they always way high up in trees? It sounded like they were. I mean, they obviously have to get up there, but
they only come down once a week.
What?
So, yeah.
To work at the DMV? That's when one day a week.
Oh, I love that movie. But yeah, yes, sir. They only come down once a week.
I don't know who Sir is. Do you have a problem with heights?
A little bit. I do.
So you can't identify with a sloth because
not in all ways.
Part of the tree.
That's true. I could not do that. I could not live in a tree unless there's a cool tree house or something.
I have no fear. I was born that way, and not because I'm tough or anything, but I could be in a bathtub full of snakes or spiders, and I have no fear, no heights, no, not really even fear of death. Before I was a Christian, I the idea of death was oh, it just seems so exhausting. It just lasts forever. But then once I became a Christian, I don't worry about that. But I hate ticks.
Yes.
So ticks are. I don't know if I'm afraid of them. I just hate them, and I don't know why. And Because I do know why. Because they can kill you. I'm not a fan of death, and
And they're so good at hiding too.
they can kill you, and you don't even know that they're on you or in you, or you don't even know it. That's why I don't.
Horrifying.
And so no ticks in our book. There's one more thing I was gonna ask you about sloths. What is their diet?
Mostly leaves from the trees.
But you just said their leaves stay in their stomach for a month.
They do.
But
They
don't know
they might eat.
to eat the macaroni and cheese.
They might eat some small bugs or something for protein, something like that. But I think it is mostly leaves. They do they offer a lot of nutrition and stuff for them too, whatever they need. But
so you liked that your sloth was lavender scented. I have fragrance sensitivities, and so like those plugins, those Airwick plugins, and if you go into a hotel or Airbnb, I gotta immediately unplug them. I can't have like car air fresheners. I don't have any sensitivities to chemical cleaning things, which is good because I'm a germaphobe. So the hotel can smell like cleanser, and that doesn't bother me. and but it can't have anything scented in it. When I go on a date, I have to warn them ahead of time. Don't go on don't wear any perfume. And there are people you'd be surprised. Well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised. There's people that they're like, I can't. I have to wear my perfume. Sorry, no date. and then I tell my student, because I like teaching at 8 in the morning, by the way, and so I like morning anyway. Just wait till like what do you need your Axe body spray? What do you need that on at 8 o'clock in the morning? You're not going out on a date. You're coming to my class. Wait till you leave my class to put on your gunk. And there and you'd be surprised how many other students appreciate that. Like I can't out them because of HIPAA, but there'll be 5 or 6 in every class. So a class of 30, 24, there'll be 4, 5, 6 people in that class that have sensitivity to fragrance sensitivities. Some universities have outlawed it, and like you can't even wear deodorant. Like gross. And I don't have anything like that severe. And I tell people that like it's nothing that severe. You can wear deodorant and stuff. Or I knew someone who she couldn't date someone who used mint toothpaste. They had to use non-mint toothpaste.
Wow. Okay.
I don't have that. Mine's not that. I don't think I have any food that I'm fragrance sensitive to. So would a real my sidetrack there? Would a real sloth be around lavender?
I wouldn't think so. I think this is more just a calming, soothing thing.
No, I know that, but I wonder if they encounter lavender if they're way up in a tree.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. Another fun thing about sloths is they have like some kind of algae or something covering their fur. It helps with the camouflage. But yeah, I highly doubt that they would smell anything like lavender in reality because of that.
Another positive about being a sloth is you get to be covered with algae. Oh yeah, that sounds great. You've convinced me. That's not you. You don't have that problem, do you? Because you move so slow. That's why you have to have a wheelchair in the airport. So algae, you move so slow, algae doesn't have to grow on you in the airport. Oh my goodness! I've learned more about sloths than I ever could have imagined. Does that exhaust your sloth knowledge?
I think so. That has exhausted me. But if you want to learn more about it, please do the like and subscribe stuff. Push the lovely little button down below.
Yeah. What if they don't want to learn more about it? Then what do they do?
Please do it anyway. To learn more about writing stuff.
Look at that face. How can you say no to that? All right. Cool. Wonderful.
What have you got next?
I don't know. You tell me. You're driving this boat.
Do you have a game for us?
Do I ever? How about you say now it's time for the final act?
Now it's time for the final act.
Oh my gosh. Today, Peggyann Kennedy, you'll be playing for... Oh, I should have given Steve's book away for the prize. And you don't ever really get the prizes unless it's like gift card. I might mail you or something, but yeah, it's just a prize. But you'll be playing for this. See what this is? This this high tech, elaborate polymer. On a previous episode, I had a sheet of foil and I was covering something with it. And Emily's like, and I'm like, this space age polymer that I'm covering this stand with, and she goes, I didn't know we had that kind of budget. and so apparently our budget's been cut when we hired you because look at this, I only had this much, and my father has all the cattle in the field, so maybe there'll be more foil in the future. So I was watching this episode of Gomer Pyle.
Gomer Pyle.
And Sergeant Carter's like, Gomer, what are you doing? And on your break, everyone else is standing around smoking cigarettes or whatever. What are you doing on your break? And he's like, well, Sergeant Carter, I'm picking up pieces of metal pieces, like off the ground, like he was picking up litter off the ground, and he picks up this smaller than this is the one that he picks up, and he's like, what? Like, why are you doing that? And it's because I have a question for you as someone who's been on a naval base, and he was getting punished, and so he had to go work for Captain Iron Pants or whatever her name was, and Peggyann and I have had a previous conversation about Gomer Pyle, and coincidentally, she had seen. Well, I don't believe in coincidence, so not coincidentally, she had seen this episode that I'm talking about, and so he was collecting foil so he could use it to cover something for the. Was she a captain? What was she?
I think she was a captain or a lieutenant, or I think she was a captain, something like that.
A higher up military person, female person in 1960, whatever that was. So my question for you is, before we play the game, is why would there be little, like, he needed foil for his craft project. Why in his brain did he go, I'll just go out in the yard and pick up some litter and I'll find enough foil? Like, he needed like this much foil and he wound up with a ball like this big of foil. Why was there that much foil laying around in the yard?
I could not tell you that. That was just a special Gomer Pyle thing, I think.
If I
Gomer Pyle TV magic.
What?
Gomer Pyle TV magic? I don't know.
If I needed foil, I would go to the dollar store, but Dollar General. But I would never think to go look out in the yard. Plus, aren't military bases really clean usually?
Usually.
Okay.
Some places are cleaner than others.
But is there going to be foil this big laying around on the ground?
Probably nothing that bad. I would highly doubt that.
Well,
I don't remember seeing anything like that laying around.
I looked at, so this is what you win. So don't get too, like, or get, maybe you should get super excited because this could wind up turning into something. So that episode, I looked it up. Gary Marshall, who's one of my heroes, Penny Marshall's dad, he's now passed away, who's written, Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and Cindy Beggle on Twitter. We follow each other on Twitter. We've talked about, she's actually in our book. We talked about her in our book. She liked couple of Emily's segments. She wrote for Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy. Anyway, so if Gary Marshall were still alive, I'd ask him, like, where did that, like, I know why he needed the foil, but like, I'll have him go out and have him go out in the yard and get the foil. Like, why was that a thing? And then, how long since you've watched that episode? I have a writing teaching moment.
It's been 2 or 3 months, maybe, something like that.
Okay, so it's free on the YouTube. So maybe I'll even put a link in the show notes for people to go watch and they can answer. Cool. Oh, sure. When we're the guests, we have to come up with a call to action. So this is your call to action, people. It's in the middle of the game. Call to action is, I want you to go watch that Gomer Pyle episode and answer this question. Whose story is it? You got Sergeant Carter, you got Gomer Pyle, and you got Captain Lieutenant
Iron
Iron
Pants.
Pants. Whose story is it? Which one of those people's story is it? And then next week, remind me, and I'll answer that question. And then, if you think you know, you're gonna have to tell me what that person's goal was, because a story, a 24-minute contained story, you should have a protagonist with a goal and some obstacles. And Gary Marshall's the master of his craft, and even though it's early in his career, so that's your call to action. Tell us whose story that episode, Lieutenant Iron Pants or whatever it is, on the YouTube on Gomer Pyle, what that is. All right, today the game you'll be playing, Peggyann Kennedy. Since we don't know each other, we kind of talk like we do know each other, but we don't know each other. And have you ever seen on the YouTube, what's it called? Career Ladder?
No, I haven't.
So
I don't think.
We can't do Career Ladder because that's already copywritten. So we're gonna do Career Index Card, I guess. So on Career Ladder, so I love it. Shout out to Career Ladder. A guy, the host of Career Ladder, comes up and stands on this side of the ladder. So here's a guy standing up here, and then he just gets a random person. Tag, you're the random person today, and she or he has to stand on this side of the ladder, and then they're nose to nose, and he asks her it's kind of like 20 questions, and he's got 2 minutes to figure out what her job is or his job is. And so I asked you before the episode started, don't tell me, but have you ever had a job besides being in the military or being a tutor at your university? And you said you had. So whatever that job is, I'm going to put the clock on, and I'm going to try to guess what that job is.
Okay.
So your game, I actually reversed. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I realize I've reversed the game. Like, this is more, if I fail, you don't win the foil.
Oh.
I did it backwards. I did my own. I'm playing this game with myself. But you have the key to the. You have all the clues. I don't have the clue, right? And
that's true.
So I made your first game easy on you. I guess that I'll say.
Thank you.
And then
I appreciate it.
next week you come up with a game, and I should play. You said you were keeping 2 secrets from me. I should play. Guess what those 2 secrets are? I don't like secrets. But no, we'll play guess what your what. Well, let me find the clock here. We'll play guess what your job was. If I get it in a minute, then you get 2 pieces of aluminum foil. All right, ready?
Always ready.
Oh, I heard that about you. All right. Was this your first job?
Yes.
Oh. Were you still a teenager?
I was.
Did it involve food?
Possibly in a way, but not for me or other people.
Were you serving food?
In a way, yes. But not to other people.
Were you you fed the animals at the zoo? A zoo animal feeder.
Half of that is right.
Dude, that's pretty good. I think I won 45 seconds. Okay. Don't tell me which half. So I'm guessing you worked at the zoo. That's the right? No, that's the wrong half. You fed animals at the Humane Society. Oh man, I didn't make the minute. You're not going to get 2 pieces of foil. All right, so you fed animals. That's amazing. I got that in 45 seconds. You should win just for that. Oh my gosh, where you were a pet sitter?
No, sir. Or no, Jon Meyers.
Marcy. Gosh. Were you there with the animals?
I was.
So it's not that you sold dog. You were a dog food salesman? Yeah.
No, sir.
Oh my gosh, I got 15 seconds. Oh, now I got a text from Ollie's. Was it in a building?
Some parts yes, but mostly no.
Were they mammals?
Yes, they were mammals.
So it's not you weren't feeding the fish. Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry, you lost. You're such a bad clue giver. No,
I'm sorry.
you didn't give any clues. You're answering my question. So I want to keep going. It's going into overtime. So it was mammals. Was it mammals like? Were they in a tree? Is it sloth involved?
No sloths
Are
involved.
trees involved?
No, sir. Am I allowed to give clues?
Not yet. We'll wait till I get desperate. Okay, not in a tree. Not. Is it food that you had to prepare?
Not really. No, it was just kind of there already.
But it wasn't at a zoo. Was it and you got paid for this?
No.
It's not a job then.
Well, it was kind of a job.
Some people get paid for it.
Yes.
Okay, you just did it as a volunteer?
Yes, sir.
You fed monkeys at some kind of monkey exhibit, but wasn't a zoo.
No monkeys.
Oh,
No monkeys.
in the parade, you led the horses through the parade, and you fed them carrots.
No parade, but that would be fun.
Parade master, Peggyann. Was it a horse?
There was a horse involved.
Oh.
At least one. I think it was just one.
Were you on the horse?
Sadly, no. I was around the horse a lot, but I did not get to ride.
Did the horse look like this?
I mean, that general horsey shape. I don't think it looked exact.
It's a zebra.
Oh, wow.
Oh. God. So, was the horse the animal that you fed?
It was one of them, I believe. Yes.
You believe?
Yes, it's been a couple decades, so a decade.
Decades. Oh my goodness.
A decade.
Gosh. Where would an animal be? See, people at home are playing along. Where would an animal be that's not at a zoo? So it's a farm?
Yes.
Were there cows there?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so on a farm, you were a farmhand.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
And,
yeah.
And your main duty was feeding the animals?
Feeding and scooping up the stuff and gross stuff that I will not mention. And they actually had alpacas too that I got to feed. That was cool. One of them spit in my face.
and that was cool. You know how when you go into a restaurant, you pick out your lobster, and then they cook that lobster for you. You know, there's lobsters in a tank. You know what I'm talking about?
I know.
And so when you said alpaca, with my ex, when I told you before, I had 2 stepkids, and we used to go out to a llama farm, and they had llamas and alpacas, but they had a restaurant at the llama farm that had llama pizza and llama burgers, and yeah, for real, and llama chili, which I don't like chili, and but you had to walk by all the llamas to get to the restaurant, and the girls were like 6 and 4 or 8 and 6, and I'd be like, all right, pick out your llama that you're gonna eat. And,
I could not
just-
do that.
just like that. Just like when you pick out your own lobster, you get to pick out which llama you're gonna eat. They didn't believe me though. So is that the job? You were a farmhand.
I was.
Uh,
I actually worked as a farmhand twice. Once for a guy who was like the brother of somebody we knew, and he owned a lot of chickens, and so I helped feed the little baby chicks. And another lady was offering to help me show goats, and I was working for her in return to kind of pay off, I don't know, in return for her help. But I ended up not showing goats that year, but I still stayed and worked. It was fun.
So there was so much there. So you showed goats
I did for 2 or 3 years.
and you paid your mentor by feeding her goats, working off the debt.
Yeah, I helped her feed all her animals and give them water and kind of scoop up stuff, that sort of thing. I just worked whatever she needed me to do.
And she was supposed to pay you and she didn't pay you, or you were never supposed to be paid in the first place.
No money, just that stuff. And
were you good at showing goats?
Sometimes, yes. I won first place at one county show, so that was kind of cool.
And is that the prize that you won that allowed you to go to cane break?
No, definitely not. But I got a cool trophy, though.
The first novel of Kelly Beck, who was on the show last week, she was called Must Love Goats. And it was goat related. And
cool.
And like I just held up that little horse. She held up a screaming goat off of her desk. All right. Thank you. You did great. You made it. Your first episode under the belt.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
You got to talk about yourself for an hour and a half.
That felt really, really weird.
And goats and sloths. All right. You know the thing that you say?
We couldn't have done it without
you.